December 12, 1931, while on leave at his home in Osaka, 2nd Lieutenant Inoue Seiichi of the Imperial Japanese Army's 37th Infantry Regiment woke up to discover that his 21-year-old newlywed wife, Chiyoko, had taken her own life. In the room were portraits of the Emperor and Empress. A suicide note lay on the desk. It read, in essence, "I've been very happy marrying you, but without me, you'll be able to devote yourself fully to serving the Emperor and the Empire." Before this, Inoue had shown signs of war fatigue and wanted to live peacefully with his wife, but Chiyoko, deeply indoctrinated by militarism, ended her husband's personal attachment in this extreme way, urging him to dedicate himself to the war effort. After reading the note in silence, Inoue entrusted his wife's funeral arrangements to his family and boarded a ship to northeast China that same day. From then on, he would become a cold and ruthless killer. In September 1932, he took part in the Pingdingshan massacre in Fushun. Chiyoko's suicide caused a nationwide sensation in Japan. The military promoted her as a model example, and newspapers covered the story extensively, praising her as a virtuous Showa woman and a heroic samurai wife. Tens of thousands attended her funeral. Her story was later included in school textbooks and adapted into plays and films as propaganda. The matchmaker who introduced Chiyoko and Inoue, Yasuda Shizuka, was deeply influenced by the incident and came to believe that women also had a duty to serve the empire. On March 18, 1932, she gathered more than 50 housewives at Osaka's 5th Elementary School to found the National Defense Women's Association, the precursor to the massive Greater Japan National Defense Women's Association. There is a saying, war keeps women out of it, but in reality, that was never true. During Japan's militarist period, women were never formal soldiers, but they still played a crucial role in supporting the war effort, not only through logistics and labor, but also as a source of moral and emotional support for soldiers. Japan's first women's organization was the Patriotic Women's Association, founded in Tokyo in 1901 by activist Okumayo from Kyushu. During the Boxer Rebellion, she visited northern China to support Japanese troops. After returning home, she learned that families of fallen soldiers were left without support, and began organizing women to care for them. Her efforts gained support from the upper class. At its founding, the organization was headed by an imperial princess, and affiliated with the Ministry of Home Affairs. Its early members were mostly aristocratic women. During the Russo-Japanese War, membership expanded to ordinary women. Because caring for wounded soldiers and their families was considered undesirable work for aristocrats, they mostly limited themselves to morale-boosting visits and fundraising for military supplies. However, high membership fees and elite leadership kept the organization disconnected from ordinary people, and its growth remained limited. At its peak, it had around 400,000 members. In March 1931, the Ministry of Education sought to expand its influence and used school mothers associations nationwide to establish the Greater Japan Women's Federation, aimed at promoting militarist education. The exact membership is unknown. That December, after Chiyoko Inoue's suicide was heavily publicized by the military, it created a powerful social impact. The standards for Japanese women were suddenly rewritten overnight. If you couldn't personally send your husband or son off to die for the emperor, you were not considered a proper Japanese woman. In this climate, and under the influence of Chiyoko's story, the Osaka National Defense Women's Association quickly grew to 100,000 members within a year, expanding nationwide and being renamed the Greater Japan National Defense Women's Association. Membership fees were extremely low, and in some branches, there were none at all. Most members were working and lower middle-class housewives, which created a strong sense of equality and helped the organization grow rapidly. By 1942, membership had reached 10 million. Its slogan was, "National Defense begins in the kitchen." Its uniform was simply a cooking apron, like the Patriotic Women's Association under the Ministry of Home Affairs, and the Women's Federation under the Ministry of Education. The National Defense Women's Association effectively functioned as an instrument of Japan's militarist state. Their routine activities included taking care of households, encouraging childbirth for the nation, organizing send-offs for soldiers, making thousand-stitch belts as good luck charms, and caring for wounded or fallen soldiers. Some of their more extreme activities went further. To ensure men went to the front without hesitation, women were sometimes arranged to marry soldiers, or even spend a final night with them before deployment. They would then write letters to the soldiers as if they were their wives, offering emotional comfort and encouragement. By 1940, almost no Japanese soldiers remained unmarried. The organization also played a major role in spreading militarist ideology, producing countless so-called military wives and military mothers. In the diary of Toshiro, a former Japanese soldier who later repeatedly apologized for his wartime actions in Nanjing, he recorded his departure for the front. Normally, a mother would feel sorrow seeing her son go to war, but Toshiro's mother said calmly, "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Go happily. If you're captured, you must kill yourself. I have 3 sons, losing one is nothing." She even gave him a dagger. This kind of distorted love severed the last trace of humanity in many soldiers, turning them into brutal killers. After the outbreak of the Pacific War, the Japanese military decided to consolidate women's organizations to use them more efficiently. In February 1942, the Patriotic Women's Association, the Women's Federation, and the National Defense Women's Association were merged into the Greater Japan Women's Association, with over 20 million members, virtually all adult women in Japan at the time. As the war continued, men were sent to the front in waves. The organization formed the Women's Volunteer Corps, mobilizing about 6 million women aged 14 to 40 to work in wartime production. Later, they were also included in the so-called 100 million total sacrifice plan. After Japan's surrender, the Greater Japan Women's Association was dissolved. Some women who had been deeply involved in the system took their own lives in despair. Most, however, simply had to go on living. After U.S. forces occupied Japan, the Special Comfort Facility Association was established to serve American soldiers. Large numbers of unemployed former former Women's Volunteer Corps members, were recruited. They quickly adapted to the role, and at one point, as many as 70,000 Japanese women were working in these facilities. Women in wartime Japan were both victims and participants in the system.